Okay, so we're going to go over skin retouching, including dodging and burning. So just an example of one that I previously did. This is the original image, and this is what we're going to go over today. So you can see that her skin is a lot smoother looking. She's already got great skin to begin with, and she has some dodging and burning and some sharpening. So that's kind of the dramatic effect we're after. So we're going to work on this one here. So first of all, this is the picture right out of camera. So as always, I do my beginner kind of like easier adjustments in Lightroom, and then I bring it into Photoshop after. So I'm just using the spot heal tool to take care of those couple distractions. And then right away I notice that this bright spot here is a little distracting, so I'd like to burn that down. For this I'm going to use the gradient adjustment here. So I'm going to like pull that up. Remember, this area is the fall off, so if you want to make that less, you can bring that up like so. And then whatever you do here is going to affect that adjustment. Just going to lower that down quite a bit. My focus is to bring the attention back to her face here. Great, so that's pretty good. And then I might actually raise the contrast a little bit, raise exposure slightly. And then now you can see before and after, we've already made quite a few changes that make this image really cool. Time to skin retouch. Right click, edit in Photoshop. Kind of just hang out here while Photoshop loads. If your Lightroom asks you if you would like to apply your Lightroom adjustments while importing to Photoshop, then the answer is yes, because you want to build upon those adjustments once you get to Photoshop. So if this shows up and you don't see your image anywhere, click F and it will bring your image back to the middle. I'm usually connected to a giant monitor, so sometimes it gets a little confused when I disconnect. Nice, and then the first thing I'm going to do is make a copy of my layer. I can either go Command or Control J, like so, or I can click and drag this to the new layer icon. And this just allows me to work on a layer non-destructively. So the first thing I'm going to do is take care of a few blemishes, some wrinkles, and can use a variety of tools for that. The first one I can use is the Spot Heal tool. Just like Lightroom, you can kind of click and drag and it will take care of that using a content-aware algorithm. Then you have the Heal tool, which is very similar to the Spot Heal, except you actually have to tell it where you'd like it to sample from. So for example, I want to sample from this skin, and I'm painting over this skin. So you constantly have to sample. Kind of gives you a little bit more control. And all that's doing is sampling from one area of an image to another. So you can literally paint the whole image if you want, if you maintain that same sample. And you can see how it automatically applies a different blending mode to blend it into the face. That's a little creepy, so we won't do that. Just to show you how it works, though. And then the patch tool is one of my all-time favorites. You can select a larger area and then click and drag it. So they're basically all the same tool, just different ways of applying it depending on your preference and the task at hand. So I'm not going to get rid of all of her wrinkles because I still want to maintain her age and make sure that she's recognizable. But I am going to help her out a little bit here and there. I'm going to continue to use the patch tool, clicking and dragging what I don't want into an area that I would like to copy. And then after, we're going to soften these wrinkles overall. Now the trick with skin retouching is knowing when to stop, because eventually there is a line where the person starts to look a little too perfect. Doesn't really look like them anymore. And then things like this where there's pieces of hair, the spot tool is great for that. Spot heal, so I can just kind of drag over where those hairs are, and it will usually do a great job of knowing what to populate in behind it. This is also great for telephone lines and kind of like more landscape style images. Just gonna clean that up a little bit. Nice. I don't mind the other hair wisps. Great, so let's actually review what we've done real quick. And remember, when you're retouching, it should feel like you're not really doing that much. The adjustment should be really subtle until after, then you know that you're kind of doing it right. As you can see, it's very minimal, but it does make a big difference. Great. So next, let's smooth out her skin. So here, I've got my Actions menu open as well, and if you don't have your Actions anywhere, just go up to Window and make sure your Actions is checked and it will pop up. And here's some of my favorite actions. Pro Retouch is made by a company called Totally Rad Actions, and I just love it. It's like painting on makeup. So I'm just waiting for my my thinker here to do the dirty work for me. It's making a ton of layers. It also makes this eye bump thing, which I'm not going to use right now, so I'm just going to delete that. And it makes a group of all the work that it did in terms of like the blending and the sharpening, but we don't have to worry about that. You could just keep that closed, and we're going to paint on this mask. So remember, when you're painting on a mask, you're not actually painting with a paint color. So when we have white selected here, what we're actually doing is erasing the black of this mask to reveal the adjustment that we've applied. Like a stack of papers, and each mask represents a hole that you can view into the previous paper or layer underneath, which is exactly what's going on here. So I just tried to paint the mask and nothing happened, and it's because I'm still on my heal tool. So I just get in the habit of clicking the letter B, and that will ensure that I'm painting with an actual brush. And I'll bring my opacity of this brush up to 100. And remember, up here, whenever you have a tool selected here, up here will be further customization of that particular tool that you're using. And then over here is to adjust that adjustment after the fact with the opacities and whatnot of each layer. So I'll just do 100% so you can see how effective this is. So if you just paint over, you can see the wrinkles just disappear like magic. And what you don't want to do is go over eyebrows like that, or eyes, because it just gets too blurry. And I really like maintaining the skin texture personally, because I want it to not be obvious and I want them to look good. But just for the sake of showing you where I'm painting. You don't want to get too close to dark areas like eyebrows and whatnot, and you don't want to paint over moles or birthmarks or tattoos, or else it will make it blurry and it won't look as good. Great, so that's at 100%, and you can see it's a bit much, so I'm just going to lower the opacity of that layer down to half. Still makes a big difference though. It's super soft, and I'm leaving the sharpening on the eyes and whatnot as well. Nice. So, this is what we've done so far. This is the beginning. This is after we retouched our skin a little bit, and this is after we softened the skin with Retouch. Now, because I'm a destructive, lazy editor, I'm now going to flatten my whole layers here. So I can either go up to Layer, Flatten Image, or I can go Shift-Command-E, or Shift-Control-E, depending on your operating system. The reason I like to flatten layers as I go along is because I don't have to worry about what layer I'm on, especially when I'm applying lots of different actions. Also, I can go into my history palette in a window and take a snapshot anytime. When I scroll up, I can kind of go through the faces anyway. Keep in mind that once you exit Photoshop, this history will disappear. So it's not as smart to not save your layers instead. But for me, I'm going along. I know that I'm not going to have to go back and re-edit this image or anything like that, because you're going to love it. So let's just continue on with that. So the next step is some color correction. So right here you can see her eyes are a little bit red. And there's a few ways to kind of get around this. Just like anything in Photoshop, there's a million ways to do one thing, but there's always a more efficient way or a faster way. I'm going to show you a quick and dirty way to do this. I make a copy of that layer one more time with Command J. And then I'm going to go into this tool here. So this is the Dodge and Burn tool, as well as the Sponge tool. So dodging and burning, as we'll get to shortly, is making things lighter and darker, and then the Sponge tool is actually desaturating things. So I pick the Sponge tool, make my brush bigger with the parentheses brackets on my keyboard. Let's zoom into these eyeballs here. And then up here you can see it's at desaturate. Make sure it's at desaturate. You don't want it to be saturate for something like this, because we're trying to get rid of color. Because eyes look better when they're white, you can sometimes get away with just using this little sponge tool to desaturate, because we want to get that kind of whiter look. And making sure that I'm not going on top of her actual iris. And because I'm only at 16%, it's not making her eye look zombie-like. And I'm just going over top a few times of the areas that I'd like to lower the redness in. So you can see before and after what that's looking like. Looks like she was just, maybe crying a little bit, maybe she has allergies, and now she's good to go. So we'll do that to the other one real quick. So I'm going over quite a bit on, a few times on the actual area that I would like to be desaturated. I don't mind if like the veins are a little bit red still because that looks normal. We're just kind of like lowering the impact of the redness. Great. Yeah, that looks better to me. Cool. And at this point, her face looks a little bit red as well. And you'll see this happen a lot with kind of like older gentlemen and like fair-haired people. So what we can do for the overall kind of lowering the redness of her face is to add an adjustment layer by clicking this adjustment layer icon down here, and we're going to go into selective color. Because we're decreasing the reds, I'm going to make sure to use red and decrease the magenta in the red, which is basically kind of like a purpley red. And go to magenta, decrease that a little bit. Cool. Just super subtle, and then exit out of that. You can see before and after. Very subtle. I don't want to get rid of the red out of her lips, though, and her cheeks, so instead, I'm going to paint some of that color back using the mask. So every layer adjustment automatically creates a mask. And I'm going to click B as a habit, so make sure I'm on the right tool so I can actually paint through the mask. And then right now you can see that I have white, and white on white isn't going to do anything. So I have to make sure that my foreground color is the opposite color of whatever this mask is. It's always going to be black or white. And remember, you're not actually painting black or white. You're just painting a hole through the layer to look at the layer below. Great, so I just wanted to bring back some of that color a little bit so now you can see what that looks like. Nice. All right, next up, basically her skin looks beautiful already. At this point, I think we should do some dodging and burning, and then we will finish with the sharpening. So there's lots of different ways to dodge and burn. First, I'll show you the quick and dirty way, the destructive, lazy way. So I'm going to create a layer, copy again, Command J, or drag and drop it here. And I'm going to go back to the sponge tool. I'm going to hold down, and this time I'm going to go to the dodge tool. Now dodge makes things brighter. And the skinnier your brush is, the smaller your brush is, the more highlighted it will look. I'm going to raise my exposure a little bit. Make sure that protect tones is checked. That's really important, and it's checked by default. And then the range, I like to keep it on mid-tones for the most part. You'll see what I mean. So basically wherever you paint is going to be brighter. It's like painting on a brighter exposure on your image. And when in doubt, just paint where you would naturally see brightness anyway. So you can see this is a natural brightness here, this is a natural brightness here. And if you know how to do makeup, your skills will come in handy here as well. You can actually do like the inside corners of the eyes, a little bit brighter, kind of brightens up the face. Down here, on top of the lips, is called the Cupid's bow, so you can kind of highlight that a little bit. You can accentuate makeup by highlighting that shine. So anywhere you naturally see some shine works really well. And then even on like arms and whatnot. So I don't really see lots of shine here except for a spot there. If I just kind of like pull that down here and kind of create like a highlight here, that works. And that's a little bit bright, so I'm actually going to create a mask on this. And by clicking this mask button, you can see it appears there. B for brush. Now I don't want to take away all of my highlight there, so I'm going to lower the opacity of that brush down. Make sure I'm on black, which I am, and then I'm just going to paint away that slightly. Then I'm going to get off the mask and go back to the actual image, very important, and go into my dodge tool again, which is also 0. Or O, sorry, is the keyboard, okay. Now for the eyes, brightening the eyes is excellent when it comes to dodging, but I've seen some rookie mistakes. So what I have seen in the past is like this. But then what happens is it just doesn't look as natural because there's no shadow left on the eye at all. Whereas no matter where the light's coming from, usually the eyelid and the eyelashes will cast a bit of a shadow on the top. This one not so much because the light's coming directly at her from the window she's facing. But just to embrace that and really make it look more natural, I'm only going to lighten the bottom bits to keep that shadow up here. And also, I love to brighten my catch lights. And then instead of brightening the whole iris, I'm going to brighten just the opposite of the catch light. Because when the catch light comes in, it actually reflects off of this, and it naturally reflects back to you as at a diagonal across from where it entered. So it looks a little more natural that way. And you can like brighten a little bit of the rest of it too. Cool. And if something looks a bit much to you, you can tone it down with the mask. So I just clicked X to make sure that I'm kind of painting it back a little bit. Great, so let's have a look. Before, after. So you can see she looks like quite a bit more luminous. Nice. Now we're going to create another copy. Command J again. Actually, you know what? We're not going to create another copy. We're just going to do it all in one because we're being destructive right now. Forgot about that. All right, so now instead of dodging, we're not going to be burning. So click and hold the same tool, burn tool, and what this does is makes things darker. So this is a little more powerful though, so I'm going to lower my exposure, make sure my protect tones are on. I'll keep it at mid-tones. And for darkening, generally speaking, you want to kind of darken under the cheekbones because it kind of like adds a little bit more drama and definition there. And under the neck, you can darken eyebrows if you like. You can darken makeup, make it look a little more smoky. You can even darken pupils if you like. And then under the bottom lip slightly kind of makes it look a little more full. And then of course on either side of whatever highlight you previously did on any other body part to accentuate the highlight. And then I'm also going to burn these kind of brighter areas down to try and even that out, to bring the focus back to my face here. Oops, sorry, didn't mean to do that. All right, so you can see what we've done here with the dodging and burning. Just kind of added an element of luminosity. Nice. So as a finishing touch, I'm going to do some sharpening here. First, I'm going to merge these layers together and use this action called Select or Sharp, also by Totally Rad. I love it. If you don't have this action, that's okay. You can get the same effect by creating a unsharp mask layer and then painting through it. But I like this because it does the dirty work for me and it's a little bit extra special. So you can see kind of created this mask up here. B for brush. And this is where it gets fun because then you can just paint on like where you'd like the extra focus. Because to be honest, like I didn't quite nail the focus on these eyes when I was making this image, so now I can kind of cheat and make it look like I did. This also looks great for jewelry, like tattoos, anything that you'd like to add some attention to. I don't generally touch the hair too much because I like the hair to look nice and soft, but you can do some hair sharpening if you like. So it's before and after, just kind of adds a kick to it. Nice. So that concludes the skin retouching tutorial the quick and dirty way. You can also use a curved layer to do some dodging and burning if you like. A little less destructively, but I like kind of doing it that quick. Thanks, guys. Oh, you know what? Let's show the before and after. That'll be fun. Let's go back into our history and finally look at the before and after. So this is the before, and that's the after. After. Yay!